The indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate.
The story of P. Diddy's life took an unexpected and dramatic turn when the music mogul found himself behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. For decades, Diddy, whose real name is Sean Combs, was at the pinnacle of success, embodying wealth, power, and influence in the entertainment industry. However, as legal troubles mounted and the severity of the allegations against him became public, the once untouchable superstar found himself in a world far removed from his lavish lifestyle. The journey to his current predicament began earlier in the year when federal authorities raided Diddy's sprawling mansions in Florida and California. These homes, once synonymous with luxury and opulence, were transformed into crime scenes as investigators scoured for evidence. What they uncovered was a collection of items that painted a disturbing picture of Diddy's private life. Multiple AR-15 rifles with serial numbers removed, a drum magazine, and various illegal substances. However, despite the discovery of these weapons and drugs, it was the electronic evidence that ultimately led to Diddy's indictment. The digital evidence retrieved from dozens of cell phones, laptops, cloud storage accounts, and other devices formed the backbone of the federal case against Diddy. Among this trove of incriminating material were videos of what prosecutors have described as freak-offs, elaborate and disturbing events orchestrated by Diddy that involved non-consensual activities.
The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers.
The indictment detailed how these encounters were not only recorded, but used as tools of manipulation and control, ensuring that the victims remained silent and submissive. The recordings that once served as collateral to keep victims in line have now become the very pieces of evidence being used to build the case against him. The indictment charged Diddy with a range of offenses, including racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. The government's case extends back decades, unraveling a pattern of abuse that dates as far back as 1991. This wasn't the first time that Diddy faced accusations of misconduct. In November of the previous year, Cassandra Ventura, known to the public as Cassie, filed a civil suit against him. The lawsuit detailed years of emotional, physical, and he endured during their relationship. Cassie's revelation served as a catalyst, leading to more survivors stepping forward and filing similar suits, each recounting eerily consistent stories of coercion, and as the floodgates opened, Diddy's reputation began to crumble. By the time the indictment was handed down, more than a dozen civil suits had been filed against him, each one painting a grim picture of a man who used his power and influence to prey on vulnerable individuals. Attorney Tony Busby, a high-profile lawyer based in Houston, announced plans to file an additional 120 civil suits against Diddy, some involving allegations of child with victims as young as 9 years old. These lawsuits are expected to name at least one other high-profile individual who participated in the freak-offs alongside Diddy, further complicating an already explosive case. Despite the mounting evidence, Diddy has maintained his innocence, pleading not guilty to all charges. His legal team has fought vigorously for his release on bail, presenting what they believe to be a compelling package. A $50 million bond co-signed by his family members, restrictions on his travel, a GPS monitoring device, and limitations on female visitors. The defense argued that the bail package was more than sufficient to guarantee Diddy's compliance with court orders. However, their pleas fell on deaf ears. Judge Andrew L. Carter, who initially reviewed the bail request, denied it, stating that the package was insufficient to ensure the safety of the community and the integrity of the case. The defense's subsequent appeal to Magistrate Judge Robin Tarnowski was also rejected, with the judge citing concerns over Diddy's apparent anger issues and history of substance abuse. The courts were not willing to take any risk, particularly given the severity of the charges and Diddy's access to substantial financial resources that could facilitate his escape. The arrival of a new judge, Ain Subramian, has reignited some hope for Diddy's legal team. Subramian, who was appointed by President Joe Biden and took the bench in 2023, is known for his experience in handling high-profile cases. His previous involvement in the Department of Justice's antitrust case against Ticketmaster demonstrated his ability to navigate complex legal waters. Diddy's defense team is hopeful that this fresh set of eyes will bring a new perspective to the case, potentially leading to a different outcome regarding their client's bail request. While his lawyers prepare for the next round of legal battles, Diddy remains confined at MDC Brooklyn, a facility notorious for its harsh conditions. His legal team has been vocal about the deplorable state of the detention center, citing violence, overcrowding, and understaffing as major concerns. Since June, 2 inmates have been killed at MDC, and over the past 3 years, at least 4 inmates have been by. Adding to the grim reality of the facility, 6 staff members have been charged with crimes over the last 5 years, underscoring the chaotic environment that Diddy now finds himself in. When Diddy was first admitted to MDC, he was placed on watch, a standard precautionary measure for high-profile inmates entering a potentially hostile environment. The experience was undoubtedly a stark contrast to the life he had known, filled with red carpets, luxury cars, and private jets. Since then, Diddy has been moved to a protective care unit, the same unit housing former FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried. This special section is designed for inmates who require added security, whether due to their celebrity status or their cooperation in ongoing investigations. Despite his current circumstances, Diddy has managed to maintain some semblance of normalcy within the walls of MDC. Reports suggest that he has been granted a few privileges not afforded to other inmates, such as access to daily showers and slightly better food. He has also been able to communicate with his family through phone calls and even received an in-person visit, offering a small degree of comfort during his incarceration. However, these small allowances do little to alleviate the immense stress and isolation that come with being behind bars. The psychological toll of confinement, especially for someone accustomed to a life of privilege and adulation, cannot be understated. Diddy's legal team has argued that his continued detention hampers his ability to prepare an effective defense. Meeting with his lawyers is complicated by the security measures in place at MDC, and the lack of privacy makes it challenging to discuss sensitive matters openly. Moreover, the constant threat of violence within the facility adds another layer of anxiety, making it difficult for Diddy to focus on anything other than his immediate safety. As the legal proceedings continue to unfold, the stakes remain high for all parties involved. The prosecution has built a compelling case, supported by an extensive array of evidence and witness testimonies. They allege that Diddy's crimes were not isolated incidents, but part of a long-standing pattern of predatory behavior. The defense, on the other hand, is pushing back hard, insisting that Diddy is being unfairly targeted and that the charges against him are exaggerated. Public opinion is sharply divided. To some, Diddy's downfall is seen as a long overdue reckoning for a man who wielded his power unchecked for too long. To others, he is a victim of a judicial system that is quick to condemn without giving the accused a fair chance to prove their innocence. The debate over his guilt or innocence is likely to rage on, but one thing is clear. Diddy's once gilded life is now a shadow of its former self, replaced by the cold, harsh reality of life behind bars. The future remains uncertain for the man who once seemed invincible. As new revelations come to light and additional lawsuits are filed, the legal quagmire only deepens. Diddy's team will likely continue to explore every legal avenue available, from requesting a transfer to another facility to pushing for a more lenient bail package. However, with each new development, the possibility of a long and arduous trial looms larger. Even as he fights for his freedom, Diddy must grapple with the reality that his reputation may never recover. The allegations against him have cast a long shadow over his career, tarnishing the legacy he spent decades building. The man who was once celebrated as a trailblazer in the music industry now finds himself at the center of one of the most high-profile criminal cases in recent memory. In the coming months, as the case against him proceeds, the world will be watching closely. For now, Diddy remains an inmate at MDC Brooklyn, his fate hanging in the balance as his legal team prepares to make yet another bid for his release. The outcome of his third bail request could set the tone for the rest of the trial. But whether he will walk free or continue to languish behind bars is a question that only time and the courts can answer.